Senator John McCAIN makes it plain and simple. He tells Egyptian President Mubarak he has to go now, not later, but now. If President Mubarak does leave now, what does it mean for the United States? Arizona Senator John McCAIN went on the record. Senator, nice to see you, sir.
Thank you.
Lots of unrest in Egypt. Now the military is firing apparently into the air to try to dispel the crowds. What should we be doing about Egypt?
It's a obviously very difficult situation, and it is changing literally by the hour in many respects. The only force for stability in Egypt is the army. And we want to make sure that the army maintains that position of respect by all the citizens. I am very worried that with Mubarak not stepping down, that it could cause the people to turn against the army. And you could see the army acting in a way that could alienate the population. I respect President Mubarak. He took in a major role after Anwar Sadat was assassinated. He's been a good friend of America. He's been a stalwart friend of Israel. He's been a force for peace in the region. Unfortunately, he stayed too long, and he did not get the process of democratization moving forward in any way. In fact, a consolidation of power. And I'm afraid, and I regret to say, that it's time that he stepped down and we do everything we can to stabilize the situation in Cairo and in the rest of the country.
Should President Obama tell him flat out, leave now? And if so, is there a risk that he's going to essentially turn on us, or even that pro-Mubarak forces are going to see that the United States is interfering, meddling in the Middle East in that way?
I think all those are risks. I'm not sure if the president should say it publicly or convey it privately to President Mubarak. I think that would be a decision the President of the United States should have to make, but I think it needs to be said either publicly or privately. And second of all, again, the only chance we have for setting up elections in September with a free and open process is for the Army to really control all of these events and make sure that a free and fair election is held. And one additional point, our military-to-military relationship with the Egyptians is very good. We've had an excellent relationship with them for years. I wish we had such a good relationship with the Pakistani military outside of General Kayani. But so I think that our military and the Egyptian military can continue this close cooperation. We don't want the people of Egypt to turn against the army.
Suppose that we do communicate that to Mubarak, President Mubarak, and he says no.
It's hard to predict events. I'm very worried about the influence of the Muslim Brotherhood. I'm deeply concerned about them hijacking any election. We've seen what happens when Hamas was elected in Gaza. But at the same time, I think we have to take this risk and count on Suleiman and others in the Egyptian army to urge President Mubarak to take the proper steps to ensure that his country doesn't descend into chaos.
I read the newspapers of the different regions, the English-speaking ones, and I realize that I'm not reading in the native language, and the English papers tend to be more pro-American in many instances. But even when I read the Israeli newspaper, it's so dispassionate in how they report the facts. But Israel must be completely on edge, because this is one of the two Arab countries that recognize them.
Yes, and the other Arab country, Jordan, the president has just had to replace the whole government. He wouldn't be, excuse me, the King Abdullah has had to replace the whole government. This virus is spreading throughout the Middle East. The president of Yemen, as you know, just made the announcement that he wasn't running again. This, I would argue, is probably the most dangerous period of history of our entire involvement in the Middle East, at least in modern times. Israel is in danger of being surrounded by countries that are against the very existence of Israel or governed by radical organizations. Jordan has been a fast friend of ours, a fast friend of Israel, has helped us in more ways than I can describe publicly, and yet the majority of the population of Jordan is Palestinian, not Hashemite as the king is. So these are very, very tenuous times and requires a steady hand and measured and mature leadership from the United States of America. And so far, I think the President has handled it pretty well.
The warning was issued, but was it ignored? In minutes, Senator John McCain continues with strong words. Plus, at this point in the game, does Senator McCain think Republicans have a shot at repealing the health care law? Or is this just a political dance?